This for all my Motown Sports Dads, repping every game with the fields and the courts at. Keeping every schedule in the notepad. Rocking team merch and a sports cap. This for all my Motown Sports Dads, repping every game with the fields and the courts at. This for all my Motown Sports Dads. This for all my Motown Sports Dads. Courtesy of Motown Madness. Courtesy of Motown Madness. Can't you see it's Motown Madness? Can't you see it's Motown Madness? Courtesy of Motown Madness. Courtesy of Motown Madness. This for all my Motown Sports Dads. This for all my Motown Sports Dads. Yeah. Motown Madness family, what's good? What's poppin'? We back. Motown Sports Dad, the podcast where we help sports dads navigate their child's athletic journey with ease and balance. Balance is key. Balance is key, man. Y'all know we back with your boy Marcel B, the MC, man. Hey, I got music on all platforms, but I ain't gonna make it all about me because I got three really good dudes with me here on the podcast. I got my man Vopini, Coach Vopini. Look, he said now we had now. You know I love inside jokes, but sometimes inside jokes can be outside jokes. So Vopini said he wasn't going to do much coaching, right? And lo and behold, we saw a picture with him and the prospects, and it really looked like he was coaching. So we going to call him Coach Vopini, man. What's going on, man? You good?
I'm good, man. What's going on with you guys?
Love it, man. We here, man. So, you know, that's a great start, right?
Motown Madness. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. So look, then we got founder of the Motown Magic Basketball Organization, the code breaker himself, Call Up Chief Geek, Coach T, man. What's good, man? How you? I like
up,
that
man?
jersey, bro. We're gonna get into that jersey,
Man.
but I
We're
like
gonna
it.
have to. Oh yeah. Hey man, I'm glad that we back and let's cook. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And definitely last but not least, Suburban Joe, a true man of the people, the bourbon connoisseur. Catch him in these streets because he's liable to be anywhere. Joe, what's good, my brother?
What up? All is good. All is good.
Yes,
Another
sir.
beautiful
Yes,
day,
sir.
man.
And y'all know how we do, man. We here for a good time, not a long time, but let's hop in, man. Let's catch up. So last episode, Coach Vopini was out with the prospects, so he couldn't make the show. But y'all know we represented for him as best as we could. But those are big shoes to fill. So Coach Vopini, man, catch us up. What's going on with you, man? How did it go? You know,
it
let
was
us
good,
know.
man. 1 day tournament. 6 teams were in the tournament. There were 2 11U teams, and the other 4 teams were 12U. And prospects went 3-0 their first games. We beat 2 12U teams, and then we beat an 11U team, and then we went to the finals and got it handed to us a little bit by a more mature 12U team. Probably, they were the best team in the tournament for sure. So it was good. It was good for the kids to see that. That was our last indoor winter training tournament before spring kicks off in a couple weeks. So they're ready to go. They look good.
Wow, and I already know y'all told the boys it's not how many times you fall down, but it's as many times you get up, right?
That's it.
That's what's up, man. Hey, Joe.
Yo.
Catch us up, man. I know it's a special birthday in the household, ain't it?
Yeah, Jeremy, the big 24. He turned big 24, man.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sheesh. What else is going on with you, man?
Man, we're just hanging tonight. We're gonna make some food. We're just gonna hang out, watch some basketball. I'm gonna firing up the pizza oven tonight and make some pizza.
And Coach T, man, catch us up on the Magic, man. What's good?
Hey man, all good. We just finished one round of AAU with Midwest Athletics. It was very good. We lost in the semis to some older teams, and we're gonna have to catch up on playing older kids, because Vopini, the prospects just went through the same thing. And I think at the end of the day, there's a line between wanting our kids to play up because they can handle it and they're skilled. But there's also a level of playing too far up. Yeah. So not today, but Coach Dads, we're gonna have to talk about what it means to play up and what it means to play too far up.
Yeah,
sure,
but it was great. All is well, and beautiful learning experiences for us. Meaningful losses. You know how I am about those.
Oh yeah,
yep,
I know.
Sure.
I know. Me, you, and Vopini kind of text last weekend, and all of our boys were playing kids older than them. So it was like a playing up themed weekend. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep. Yep.
MJ's in Boston right now,
Mm.
playing an AAU tournament. They went 1-2. The last game came down to the last shot. It was a series of progress from him from game 1 to game 3. Last weekend he lost in the championship to the 5th best ranked high school team in Florida. And he's a freshman, so that was a dub to us.
Nothing but experience, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
but more importantly, in catching up with the sports dads, this is for my sports
Yep.
dads out here. Today the household got a significant bill to address something in the house, right? Like I told y'all, my son is in Boston with my wife, and so it was a
Yep.
weekend for me to kind of have to myself, therapeutic weekend for a sports dad, right? So you kind of spend a little bit of money on yourself. Well, Sunday morning come and you get this heavy bill. The first thought that hits your mind is, man, I wish I would have got this bill on Thursday. I probably wouldn't have spent the money that I spent, right? Right.
Yep.
But I want to tell my sports dads out there, that's sometimes that happens.
Yep.
You'll pay that big bill for that AAU program, for that equipment, for those
Yep.
shoes, and maybe life's right. Life start lifing is what the kids say today. But I'm here to encourage you. Don't want to get preachy, but there's a God that created the earth, and he made more money where that came from. So don't sweat money. Keep your quality of life and your children at the forefront, and God will supply all your needs. Be encouraged, my sports dads out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So y'all know what it is. We here for a good time, not a long time. So let's hop
That's right.
right into it, man. So look, what we're doing here is a segment we call Pro Dad, right?
Yep.
What kind of sports podcast would we be if we totally ignored what was happening in mainstream media from a sports perspective? So we got the NFL draft coming up in April, right? And we have prime time. I'm pretty sure across this panel, prime time is one of our favorites, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You dig? And so this is where we get to Coach T rocking that dope Atlanta Falcons Deion Sanders classic jersey. You dig? Pause for the cause. You know what I'm saying? So and Deion Sanders nowadays, although he's an NFL Hall of Famer, coach to the Colorado Buffaloes. He's living that coach life now, but he is very much so a sports dad. And his son, Shedeur Sanders, is now eligible for the NFL draft. He's coming out. It's happening. Everybody knows that. About a year ago, he was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, and he stated that his son would only play in certain cities, and he would pull an Eli, which is in reference to Eli Manning refusing to play for the Chargers coming out of the draft. But since then, and most recently in an interview with Skip Bayless on the Skip Bayless show, Bayless asked Deion Sanders if he would attempt to orchestrate where Shedeur's drafted. His response was no, no, no. He said, because that's not God's will right now. I want Shedeur to do what he's consistently done, excel against the odds. So he has since changed his original stance. So my question to you, Joe, first, what do you think made prime time? What made Deion change his mind? What do you think happened?
Well, it could be a lot of things, right? But the first thing that popped into my head was, is Shedeur's stock dropping? Right? Right. So, right. And if and the way, the draft is this year, a lot of the teams that he probably didn't want him to go to have the higher picks, right? So, and a lot of the, he's limiting his kid to going to, a team that's, whatever, whether it's the Cowboys or wherever he wants his son to go, but he's limiting it. So his stock has dropped, could have dropped. And instead of an early first round pick, maybe he now, because of, saying, hey, these are the only teams I want him to go to, he's going to be a later first round pick. Right. And, that could be one of the reasons, right? We don't know what's going on, behind closed doors over there. But first thing that came into my head is maybe his son's stock's dropped.
That's an interesting take, Joe. So you think he kind of did it out of damage control?
It could have been part of it. Yeah. Could have been.
I could
Yeah.
dig that. I could dig that. Coach
Yeah.
T, from your perspective, man, and I got to get that jersey, man. I just let me say that. I got to get that Deion jersey. But from your perspective, man, what do you think caused Deion
Wait
to
till you see
change
the
his
red.
mind?
Wait till you see the. Wait till you see the red one.
Oh yeah,
Wait till you see the red one, cuz.
see with the shoes too. You probably I know you got the shoes too. I already know you, cuz you got the shoes.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I also got on my. We're gonna. You know what? We're gonna have my son, which we also call prime time, on the show today. And so these are also his total colors. So we represent. But all right,
Nice.
back to the. Let's get back to business.
Right. So what do you think made Dion change his mind, man? What made him change his stance?
You know, I love Joe's perspective because I think that's part of it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I'm not gonna lie. I think reality started. So first, you and your emotions. All right. We did this together. I done made you the number one quarterback, or we done made you the number one quarterback,
Facts.
right? And so, which is not easy to do. Deion was a cornerback, and he was. I mean, he's the best ever at the position, obviously, but still, to put that on your son when everybody all grown up saying he wasn't that good. You only making it because you're dead. Almost the Bronny thing, back to the LeBron and Bronny thing.
For sure.
Difference being, he really is that good. You know what I'm saying? And so you you start to feel personal about it. It's yours now. It's yours. And you start to see how other people from the outside is looking at it. It's hurting his draft stock. And I think Deion is a God fearing man. And so
Yep.
in my heart, I think he prayed on it. And I think God showed him I think he got a revelation. I think he got a revelation on it, and I think he found a different approach, if you will. That's my 1-2 on that one.
I like that, and I think you got a point there because he even straight from his words, he said because that's not God's will right now. You're right.
Hmm.
In his initial
Hmm.
statement, it was all from his perspective, and now
Yeah.
his new perspective immediately mentioned God's perspective. So you got a good point
So
there.
so that's a code for I prayed on it. I touched and agreed with my accountability partners. I fasted on it, and I heard God's perspective on it. And despite of what mine may be,
Mhm.
I need to adjust what mine is to what his is.
Love that. Love
Yep.
You
that.
get what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
For
So
sure. Volpini, man, from
Coach
your
T stole my
perspective.
thunder. Coach T stole my thunder, man. That's what I want to touch on. Is Deion is a man of God. He said it publicly. He says it in the streets. He says it in interviews. So I do think he went to prayer, and I think that God spoke to him, humbled a little bit,
mhm.
and like T said, went to his community and really just dug into it. And he's had that time to let it marinate. And and maybe even I was going to touch on that too. Maybe that Bron and Bronny story got to him. He's like, dude, I don't want to look a little cringy like that. I don't
That's
want to be
good.
that cringy
Good
sports
point.
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
Yep.
I see all those points, man. Great points, fellas.
that's
Yep.
dope, man. I think from our so a couple things. I think Dion has three sons eligible for this draft. He's got Shador, he's got Travis, and he has Shiloh. And I don't think I've ever seen a situation with a program with this level of notoriety and this dominant in a draft when we could be talking early picks. And
Right.
that power can kind of go to your head, right? And I don't want to make this racial and culture clash, right?
Mhm.
Um, with Eli Manning and his family doing this, then when you feel like you are one of the royal families of a professional sport and
Mhm.
someone of a different culture or nationality has pulled a move, there's almost a sense of entitlement. You feel if they did that, we should be able to do that too, right?
Mhm.
If Eli Manning and his family can pull that move, why can't a black family do the same, right? That's just
Mhm.
plainly speaking. And but
Mhm.
again, it's all from a man and his perspective only. Being a
Mhm.
sports dad means that it's not always going to go the direction you feel it should go and just
Mhm.
in your best interest.
Mhm.
It's in the entire and really at the end of the day, your athlete makes the end decision eventually, right? They're still our children to raise, but at a certain point, they're going to be grown and make their own sports decisions. So that means that things cannot go your way. So you got to find something that's bigger than you and making that decision, man. So,
Well,
uh,
so let's go back a little bit with Deion.
yeah,
Um, Deion Sanders has always been a component of controlling his own fate.
yep,
It's kind of like when I tell the kids, don't complain to me about the referees at the end of the game, because in the end, you left it in their hands.
Mhm.
If you blow them out, we ain't got to work. We're not having this conversation, right?
yep,
Yep. Yep.
And so as back to being a black man, especially in a you know, football is kind of a white sport as far as the ownership. Um, I've I've spent some time around it and I've seen it, and it's very different.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
but anyway, you try to, we can get into that too, because that's a loaded statement, but you try
Mhm.
to control your outcomes. Dion did the same thing when he got drafted. He told the Detroit Lions, don't draft me. Flat out, don't draft me.
yep,
Now, I wonder, and then he went to Atlanta, and in my opinion, it really didn't work out any better,
exactly.
anyways. And so I wonder what was his stipulations. I know he softened his stance on it, but I wonder what was it? Was it because of weather and economy? Is it, is it money? Is it, do they have a front line? Is it
So,
winning? Do you think they can win? Like,
yep.
go ahead. I want to know, like, what makes Dion pick one team over the other for his kid?
Yep. So one thing we know about typically the teams that are at the top of the draft board are teams that haven't historically won, right? We find a lot of times the same
Right.
teams are at the top five level.
Yep.
Right.
What
It's
I
the
s- what I
penalty.
s-
It's the penalty of being a top draft pick.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I mean, you got it right. You got to be a losing team to get top draft picks.
Right.
Yep.
So he mentioned a year ago, when he had his initial
Mhm.
stance, that he didn't want him, and this was for Travis too. He didn't want them going into a dysfunctional situation. And we talk, just
Mhm.
in our circles as men, that you can tell why some of these franchises never win championships
Yep.
because they're poorly run. And
Yep.
it seems like Dion was saying, I don't want them going into um a poorly run franchise. But
Yep.
when you give that to God, it could be poorly run every year before you got there.
Mhm.
But when you get there, it could be a totally different,
Because
situation.
you're supposed to be the
Yep.
difference. You're
Yeah,
supposed to change the
exactly.
Absolutely.
atmosphere.
Yep.
You
Exactly.
know.
Exactly,
Yep.
man. So that's good. So look,
Oh, yeah.
do this to my sports dads in the comments. Let us know, what do you think? What do you think caused Dion to change his mind? And if you post it on socials, hashtag Prime for a Change, hashtag Motown Sports Dad. Look, so let's keep
Look.
it moving.
Before we jump, hold on real quick.
Yep.
So Dion just
Yep.
agreed to a 5-year, $54 million contract extension with the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yep.
Hmm.
All right.
Mhm.
So this deal marks a major increase from the original 5-year, 25.5 million
Yep.
contract he signed
Wow,
in 2022 after
Mhm.
leaving Jackson State. The thing that I want to say, and I also hope this, I hope this is part of his mentality, because I'm rooting for prime time no matter what,
for sure.
is don't
Yeah.
hurt
Oh,
the
yeah.
rest of the Colorado kids. You know,
Yep.
you got to start now. That means
Yep.
you sticking around past your kid coaching, which is
Yep.
a conversation for us. Like,
Yeah,
how
Mhm.
long do you really want to coach? You know what I'm
right.
saying? And
Right.
so now
Oh yeah.
you did it. Your son is gone, right? And so
Yep.
he's got to watch what he do with those relationships for other kids that's being
Yeah.
recruited and has got a chance to go to these programs, right?
Yep.
So,
So that's another instance of him
Yep.
recognizing that it's bigger
uh-huh,
than both him and his son. It's
Bigger.
bigger than
right,
that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah,
a that's a
I
that's
agree
a
with
nice
that.
fresh
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah,
Because because not all kids are gonna because not all kids are gonna be lucky enough to pick a team of their choosing, right?
yep,
Some kids are,
right,
they're gonna
right.
end up anywhere and they're gonna be
And the
happy.
and the
And
better and the better
what's
you
that?
are, the more dysfunctional the
Yep.
program is you're gonna end up with.
You know what?
Right.
That's probably true,
for
right?
sure, man. But
Yep.
look, man, look, fellas, because we gotta keep it moving. Got to keep it moving. Look. So now let's hop into what's on tap with
Yes,
Suburban
sir.
Joe and Vopini,
All right.
man. Sponsored
All
by
right.
Hydrate 586, man. Talk about IV therapy, man. IV therapy, fellas. And I've seen those bars out. I've been
Yep.
in a couple clubs with them, seen them in a couple wellness clinics. did a little search, research on them, man. IV therapy, it offers benefits like enhanced energy, improved hydration, boosted immunity, and relief from fatigue or hangovers, right? By
Yep.
delivering nutrients and fluids directly into the bloodstream. So shout out to Hydrate 586. What's on Tap with Suburban Joe and Vopini, sponsored by Hydrate 586, where we tap into what's going on within Macomb County. So, Joe, let the people know what's on tap.
Well, today let's talk about little leagues, just local little leagues, right? A lot of times people are looking for, hey, I want to get my son or daughter started in baseball, right?
Sure.
So, and a lot of times people just don't know where to go, right? You can hop online and you can try to investigate, but we're going to help you out here, right? So locally in the Macomb County area, and there's other rec leagues, but I'm going to highlight the four of the bigger rec leagues in the area. Okay. So we'll start off with Clinton Valley Little League. They're here in Clinton Township. They're local. That's where all of our kids played, right, guys? I mean, that's where we all got started. That's where our kids got started. So there's we call it CVLL around here. And then another one, if you're more like the St. Clair Shores area, you got Loch St. Clair Little League. They're located in St. Clair Shores. And then further north is Macomb Township Little League.
Mm-hmm.
They're located in Macomb County. And then there's also Sterling Heights Youth Baseball League. And so there's four right there that if you're interested, if you want to get your child started somewhere, it's a great start. It's a great place to start, right? Because you don't want to just jump. You just don't want to throw them into travel like right off the bat. Put them into rec, and see how it goes. So, yeah, and you gotta and we got links. So
for sure.
So Volpini, I'm gonna ask you to jump in on that one a little bit because I know you like specialists, right? So Joe just said something that was crazy. He said you don't want to just throw your kids and to travel. You want to if they just getting started, recreation might be the place for them. What's your thoughts? How come?
I mean, it's a starter league, right? You got to start with T-ball, coach pitch. Got to go through the progression. These kids don't even understand the game. Baseball is a very complex sport. It involves a lot.
Yeah.
It's not just throwing and catching. And throwing and catching is the hardest to get the grips on first, right?
Yep.
So you want to start with your little league. Start them as young as they want to play and show interest in it. But when they do show that interest, you got to gauge their talent and make sure you're picking what's right. But little league's the way to start it off. See where they're at. See where they measure up.
Absolutely.
Nice. So you anything that's going on in Macomb at the high school level, Volpini, that you can let the people know about?
Season's starting this week. Looks like we got some rain in our forecast. This year with high school baseball, they do have a change. They're starting with 1-and-1 count, speed things up in games. The reason they're doing that, I hear, is because of lack of umpires, which is causing umpires to have to do 2 games in a day where they go from one school to another. So they got that 4:00 game, got to get that done in a certain time. Then they're bouncing to a 6:00 game. So big change in high school sports. We need more volunteers out there, more umpires, but that's because parents and coaches are so rough on them. We'll have to get that on another episode, but
that'll be another episode. I agree.
They're running the umpires out of town, and I'm actually off segment is I'm looking into umpiring this year. I got a clinic next Saturday to maybe umpire a couple of days a week.
Nice.
Just get out
Umpire
there.
Volpini.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm coming to give you a hard time. Blue.
I know you will, but Michigan, Macomb County's got some good baseball. We know we're feeding into it, so 2031, 2032 classes are going to be trouble. But right now, Sterling Heights Stevenson is ranked number 12 in the Power 25 for Michigan. Macomb Dakota is 14, and then you got Anchor Bay at 23 and Algonac at 25. So we got some baseball teams around here. There's going to be some battles. So
it's going to be fun.
Looking forward to it.
And what league do they play in?
Division One. They're MAC. They're different MAC conferences.
MAC, okay.
Blue, but baseball's really laid out by divisions too. And I mean, there's probably like 30 something divisions.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, school divisions.
Nice,
Yeah.
man.
Hey,
Macomb.
just one more thing. Just
Yeah.
one more thing I didn't mention. The other good thing about rec ball is it's normally kids from the area, right? And so your kid will make connections and friends, locally. You know what I mean?
You'll
And
see them
that's
in
not a bad
school.
thing, right?
No, that's
Right.
great.
You
You'll
know.
see them in
Yep.
school. You'll see them in the
Yep.
community. It may help
Yes.
them like the sport more.
Yep.
That's
100.
nice, fellas. All right, so we got this from a Macomb sports standpoint, way to represent Macomb. But what about for the parents, Joe? Like,
Yeah.
is there anything we can recommend to the dads
Oh yeah.
to, as a reset
Yep.
button, to refresh, get out and
Yeah.
enjoy themselves? What we got?
Oh, you know what? This is perfect. This is something that my wife and I like to do. T's come with us before, and we like to get out and do local wineries. You
Hmm.
know, so I have a few local wineries that they're very local. They're not far. Got one right in downtown Mount Clemens. It's called Cellar 104. It's they make their own wines. They do have some small plates like meat and cheese trays, if that's what you're into. It's a nice area, and Mount Clemens, there's things to do down. There's restaurants, so there's one place there. There's a place that I really enjoy going to. It's Cooper Hawk quite a bit. It's in Partridge Creek. It's in Clinton Township. They got a full dinner menu. And mind you, all these places you can do wine tastings at them, right? So it's not just going in there and ordering a glass of wine, but you can do like a full blown wine tasting if you want, right? Another place is a very small place, very local. It's right down the road from me here. It's called Filippo Mark Winery. So it's a nice little place. They got a lot of sweet wines, and like I said, these are places to go check out. It's fun. Another one is called Tenera Winery. So they are in Sterling Heights. They actually have different days. They have different kind of foods. Some days they'll have pizza. They make soups. They have meat and cheese boards, bread boards. They have some appetizers and wine tasting. Their wines are not too bad there, especially if you like reds. And then there's another one called Unwind Winery. They are in Shelby Township. They have appetizers, salads, and different types of bread trays. So hey, you know what? Something to do, right? You just
For sure.
hop in, and gives you something to do. Just go and enjoy the day. Have some wine, some snacks, and some laughs.
So, Joe, I
Yep.
was thinking though, man. So I was thinking Suburban Joe, we might have to change that name. And I couldn't decide between Charcuterie Joe or Merlot Joe.
Merlot,
I couldn't decide which of those two it should be, man. But
Merlot,
um Merlot
Merlot.
Joe and Charcuterie Joe. So look,
That's right.
you mentioned Cooper's Heart, Joe.
Yeah.
We talk about just getting out with the fellas, keeping it
Yeah.
simple, like just maybe as lunch or
Yeah.
brunch or an early dinner, something like that,
Yeah.
just to get out quick and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
Recently, you and Coach T visited Cooper's Heart. I want y'all to
Yes.
walk me through the time y'all
Yeah.
had and what y'all saw. Just walk us
Mhm.
through that experience.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So we went just spur of the moment. There's nothing, just something to do. And so he said, he called me up and said, let's go to Cooper Hawk. I said, cool. So we went in, and we're members there. So every month we get tastings, and you get bottles of wine, whatever that come with it. So we went in and we did a tasting. We just sat up at the bar up there, and and they come around, and they ask you what kind of wines you want to try. So we did a tasting, had some laughs, and then we decided to go eat. So we sat in the bar area, and we ordered some food, and we ordered a drink. So
And
it was nice.
T, for you, man, what was that experience like, man? Walk us through it from your perspective.
Oh yeah, man. Like you said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, so first of all, they got Cooper Hawks everywhere. I think they got somewhere you at, right?
Yeah. There's one
Yep.
here in Waterford Lakes that I plan on
Oh,
visiting
okay,
very
cool.
soon.
Oh
Sweet.
yeah, check it out. You'll love it because
Yeah.
it's the most it's it's laid back, but it's got an upscale flavor
Yeah.
to it. Like this
Mhm.
one is in Partridge Creek, right? And so it's around all the nice shopping and the movies.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's great. They got all the wine accessories
Yep.
that you can possibly think of. You got
Yep.
great gifts on the shelves. Um,
Yeah.
when you get in there, you could definitely you give them your
Mhm.
card, and if you got some tastings, which I think we get 2 per month with our
2 per
membership,
month. Yes.
and you
Yep.
can come
Nice, man.
in and you could try some flights of wine, different ones,
Yep.
to see what you like, and then you get some bottles as part of your membership.
Yep.
And if you forget a few months, they kind of rack up, and now you can go in
Yep.
and
They do.
get
Yep.
them 6, 7 bottles and give some
Yeah.
bottles away.
Right. And it's and it's
Um,
really cool too, right? Because you can
yeah,
go in there, like I have, 3 or 4 bottles on my account, and if you decide, you know what, I feel like wine, you just, once you sit down, you ask the waitress, say, hey, I want to use a bottle of my wine for dinner, and you don't get charged for it, right? So you can use your wine and your account for dinner or for lunch
yeah,
or whatever,
yep.
right?
And
And
then we
service is
tried,
always they're always friendly too. I have not
yeah,
always friendly. So
they are.
Just so,
Joy, what was that bourbon drink we tried, Joy?
it was called what was it called? Bin. Man, it was good though. I forgot what it was called.
I think it was called too.
man, hey,
Yeah,
wine, just wine for
Yeah.
dinner just sounded like an alcoholic. That's what it just made me think of. Yeah, let me just get wine for dinner. That's it. The whole
Well,
bottle, sir.
wine with your food, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know. But look, man.
but
So look,
but
speak.
but but hey, but you're trying to get out. You want to do a double date, and you want it to be nice, and
Mhm.
you want the spirits to be high and
Yep.
laughing and just free. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a great one. It's a great
Nice,
one.
Yep.
man.
So
Nice. So, man, shout out to Cooper's Hawk. So, look, in keeping that whole mentality going and just a reset and things that are good for quality of life, shout out to Level Up, man. Let's go to a quick word on Level Up.
Sometimes being a soccer mom or a sports dad sucks. Be honest. I'm a father of four and a furry baby. I used to be 120 pounds soaking wet. Sure, I wanted to add muscle, but I ain't never expect to get fat. Every time my wife got pregnant, I got pregnant. Dad bod is real. Look, I'm a basketball coach, and it seems that 10 pounds came with every trophy we win. All the fast food and the travel on the road. You start to get away from you pretty quick. You look up, and before you know it, you're 40, trying to get back in the gym, and the energy it just ain't there. So my wife and I, we had enough this year. We said this year we're gonna focus on us, but we had no idea where to start. So luckily, I met a great resource at the gym. My buddy Brian Edwards, who is the co-owner of Level Up Health and Wellness. We had some conversations. He was getting great results. I went home excited to tell my wife about it. From there, the folks over there at Level Up, they made it a super easy journey. So look, I started their testosterone replacement therapy program, and my wife, she already showing her amazing results with a weight loss curriculum. If you're a parent who's lost your individuality and energy for life, then I strongly recommend for you to contact Level Up Health and Wellness right now. If you're watching this, you can scan the QR code, it's right above. Or visit leveluphw.com. That's leveluphw.com. Look, at some point, kids gonna grow up, and we got to get back to us feeling attractive and confident again. You got this, and you ain't got to do it alone. Look in the mirror, see yourself again. Peace and love.
And there you have it, man. Level Up, man. Love Level Up. Can't wait. I'm actually gonna be starting on the supplements pretty soon here. Just as you get older, man, being a sports dad, being able to be efficient in small windows of time because our time
Yep.
is so limited. We're giving it to our wives, our girlfriends. We're giving it to not wife and girlfriend, wife or girlfriend. I just want to make that clear. We're giving it to our kids. And so we got to be efficient in our health journey. You know what I'm saying? And Level
Okay.
Up is one of those partners on that journey. Let's hop into it, man. This segment sponsored by Dad Gang, called Dad Gang, Gang Gang,
Mm.
as the kids say it nowadays, right? Gang Gang, Gang Gang. So look, Dad Gang, man, it's an apparel designed by dads for dads. And
oh yeah,
Motown Sports
Nice.
Dad has actually landed a partnership with Dad Gang. Click the link in the description to save you 15% off. And
oh
I
yeah.
think
Mhm.
Coach T actually got some apparel from Dad Gang on the way. And
It's
I'm
on the
definitely gonna
way.
be
It's
grabbing
on the
some
way.
too. Yeah, definitely gonna be
Yep.
grabbing some Dad Gang. So check out dadgang.com. But let's hop right into it, man. Dad Gang, right? Um, we, in talking about, deciding, we talked about Deion picking a team,
Mhm.
and that was his initial thought. trying to really pick a team. And you know, we kind of, since our kids are little, is always, what team do I want my son or daughter to play for, right?
Right. Yep.
But it could be hard to gauge where my child is, right? If I'm a
Mhm.
sports dad. So from you guys, man, and you know, I'm gonna ask you, Coach Volpini, first. You know, in knowing that you have to pick a team for your child, but more so gauge them, right? Because it's a whole process. We mentioned this earlier a little bit about rec league versus travel league. You know, how do you know from your perspective, Coach V? How do you know if you're a rec league dad or a travel league dad? What goes into that decision, or how do you gauge that?
It depends on your experience, I would say, too, with your children. You know, with B Man, he's my youngest child. My older kids really didn't dig the baseball too much, but I started him off with coach pitch baseball. You know, he played 1 year, then COVID hit, and then we played the next year. And I mean, we played a lot of baseball during COVID, right? That's when he
Yeah,
really got sharpened up his skills. So we came back that year after COVID, and I regretted putting him in coach pitch already. He was just he could have played kid pitch. He shouldn't have played coach pitch for another year. Um, but then you just see how they separate. You see the talent separate between kids that should stay in rec or kids that really love baseball and want to be involved with baseball. That you're like, all right, now it's time to commit to a travel team. And fortunately, you know, my man Trevor and I, we were in Little League together, and we had our Little League tournament team. So our first year in travel away from Little League was together with our same boys for the most part. We had a couple new add-ons, but the Motown Heroes, you know, we had our year last year, first year of travel, and we already were acclimated to it a little bit with the tribe baseball that we were doing. But it was a new level. It was a different level of baseball kids. It wasn't just against little leaguers or the lower level kids, you know. But in travel, you got your different levels, so it's just gauging your kids' talent compared to other kids their age, I believe. And
so
once you feel they're excelling or hanging with the kids that are
Yep.
good, that's where you want to roll because you want to push your kid, right? I don't want my kid being the best one
Yep.
in Little League. I'd rather have him be
Right.
bottom third in travel and working hard and getting better and developing.
Mhm.
so did the older kids ever attempt to play baseball at all?
My two oldest sons attempted. David played for a couple years, probably because I forced him to, but he didn't like it too much. He wasn't very athletic. And then Aiden played for 2 years too. He got T-ball and coach pitch, and then he just didn't want to do it anymore. He had really bad ADHD, so standing in a baseball field waiting for kids to hit a ball to him didn't work so well. So he switched over to soccer, and he played soccer for a few years, travel level. It was good. He enjoyed
Gotcha.
it.
So what I'm hearing you say is the difference between, you know, the children is like passion. You know, the
Yeah,
passion that your child
Mhm.
shows was the difference
you're
on
right.
how far you went into that. I love that, man.
Yep.
Joe, you know, you know, two boys played baseball, soccer. You
Yep.
know, what went into how you recognized that it was more than just rec
Mhm.
league? It was travel ball as well. Like, you know,
Yep.
how did you gauge that? How did you recognize that? How did
Yeah. It
you
was.
make that
Yeah.
decision?
Well, it was actually pretty easy, right? I mean, Jeremy, he wanted to be with his buddies. So it really didn't matter whether it was travel league or rec league. You know what I mean? As he got older, he just wanted to play with his buddies, and we played, in rec for a long time, and then he played a few years of travel before college. He played at high school level, you know what I mean? So basically, it's what the kids want, right? And Justin, he was easy. He was outscoring everyone. He played soccer, and he was getting bored, like legitimately bored. He was wanting to quit playing because parents would yell at him because he's being a ball hog. He wasn't being a ball hog. He was just playing at a high level, So you know we pretty much let our kids, how they played and how they felt dictate where they played, right? I mean, I wasn't going to do anything that didn't make the kids happy. At the end of the day, I'm not going to force them. Wasn't going to force the kids into something that maybe they didn't want to do, right? So Justin was easy. We put him in travel young. We had to. It was a no-brainer with Justin. Is either we moved him into travel or he wasn't going to play soccer anymore. I mean,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean? And that's what it was for us. You know, times have changed a lot since Jeremy got out of high school, right? He's 24 now, right? So from ninth grade to now, it's been a long time. So a lot of things have changed, and I seen it, and I seen the change, when I was on the board of Little League, to where more and more kids and parents wanted more competition, right? So rec league is fun, but how much competition do you want, right? So and what do you want, and what does your kid want, right?
Gotcha.
So yep.
From both of you guys so far, I'm hearing it really relies on gauging what the child wants.
Yep.
Really being in tune with their passion and want for it, and
Yep.
making an honest decision from there. Coach
Yep.
T, from your perspective, how do you know if you're a rec league dad or a travel league dad?
So to me, in my personal opinion, the blueprint is you grow into it. I think you should start at rec, no matter what, right? Everybody's favorite player is their kid in the driveway.
Right.
Then you put them around other kids their age, and you see,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, he's better than I thought he was. Well, let's see, right? Or he's right here with the rest of them, or he's not as good as we thought, right? And so I just think I think you can grow into it. You get into a good community, a good recreational program,
Yep.
and that's where you meet the coach Volpinis and the Trevors, and they take you on the journey with them, or they introduce you to different levels. So that's one thing about the recreational level. It's got the resources for parents to
Yes.
take the next step. All these guys that's there, they're not necessarily just there. They have ties in and legs in and friends and other levels that can help. That's why it's a great place to start. And that's what we did. That's what we did with Deion. Old Prime Time. It was funny. I named him Prime Time. So I named him Deion because his mom's name is Diana. My wife's name is Diana, and so it's Dianku, which and so with the Czech language and all that, it kind of made sense to name him Deion. So from there, I'm like, cool, you prime time, Deion Sanders.
Right.
You know what I mean? Off top,
Right.
And he kind of walked in it, and he's still walking in it. And so for me, I'm watching him against these local kids, and I'm like, oh yeah, he
You
whooping them
ready?
up. Let me see, can he do it in double A?
Right.
Oh yeah, he can. All right, let me see, can he do it in triple A?
Yep.
Damn, he can. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, let's keep going. Where, every kid ain't the same, so you just gotta kind of see them. But as a parent, I think you should push them though.
I agree.
Because they don't know. They don't know their limits. I mean, you can see something in them that they don't see. Don't be afraid to push them. Don't be afraid to start small, but don't be afraid to push them. So you can be both. You can be rec and you can be travel. It's very hard to do because once you see the speed of travel, you ain't gonna want to go back. It's gonna be very hard to scale. You can
it's a
scale
big
up, but
change.
it's gonna be hard to scale down.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge difference.
So I agree with you. I agree with you guys. What I hear from Coach T is, again, always, no matter what, starting at rec, engaging the talent, and how much they dominate the competition, and going from there. And that's kind of what we did with MJ. So I remember, so MJ started playing AAU when he was like third grade for about a year. And it was really, he liked Steph Curry, he liked to play basketball, and he just wanted to play, he wanted to hoop. It wasn't, it was no real, can he be good or not at that age? Just too young, right? So at a certain point, he got more interested in Fortnite than he did basketball, and he stopped playing ball for years, right?
Okay.
And so, and this is, we got the, get him the gear, you get him the basketball, you get him the hoop in the driveway, but then he just stops playing. So I'm like, all right, cool, maybe he don't want to hoop no more. But then middle school, 7th grade comes around, and he wants to try out for the 7th grade basketball team, right? And so I said, all right, you want to try out? He came to me. I said, all right, you want to try out? We'll put some work in. I'm not going to pay somebody right now. I'm not going to have you join a league. We'll work. And so we start putting in all these individual drills.
Mhm.
And I remember talking to T, and he's like, man, reps are so important for him. He got to get reps. You're doing all this individual skill work with him,
Yep.
but he got to get some reps. So from there is, all right, where do I have him play? I don't want to spend a lot of money because he already flaked on basketball before. I ain't really about to go that deep into it. So we had him play rec, and then we found of a AAU team that was really not expensive. You know, it wasn't travel, but it was AAU. So we had him play both of those.
Mhm.
I remember him averaging like 20 points a game in rec league. And then you started seeing these kids in rec ball. Most of them are kids where their parents are just trying to get them some exercise and out the house. They don't want to.
I call him fresh off the couch.
Yep.
Yeah, fresh off the couch, man.
Put that
You know what I'm
game
saying?
down and get in the car.
Man, can't catch the ball. Don't know how to. They lining up at the free throw line wrong. They don't know
Yep.
which way they going at the start of the
Yeah.
game, or
Yeah.
just don't even know the regular rules of basketball. And my son has been playing with me multiple times a week, right? And so we go play rec ball, and this is a big difference. So that literally showed me, nah, this level of basketball, he's higher than this. But here's what really showed me. I can remember a summer about 2 or 3 years ago. He was literally in a summer. He was working out to music, lifting weights, and playing basketball every day of the
Oh,
summer.
nice.
I didn't tell him to get up. I didn't tell him to hoop. He did this
Mhm.
on his own. That inspired me to meet his energy. That told me, oh, you know what? I'm gonna find the best team for you. I'm gonna find the best situation. I'm gonna get the best equipment. We're gonna get it. It made me say, yo, I want to invest in that, right? And it just so happened to be hooping. It could have been computers. It could have been dancing.
Yep.
It could have been
Yep.
whatever. But
Yeah.
it's truly me saying, oh, the initiative. He took
Oh
initiative.
yeah.
He
Oh
was
yeah. You had to match him.
self-motivating.
You
Got to
had to
match
match
him.
him.
Got
Yep.
to match him.
Same with
So
Prime. Same with Prime.
yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
when they show
Practice,
that,
practice
you
after
match it.
practice.
Yep.
After they practice, he's still practicing. I'm like,
Exactly. So locked
Yep.
in is it's just undeniable.
Yep.
yeah.
Even
True.
now, he's he hoops multiple. I don't have to tell him to hoop, right? I
Yep.
don't have to tell him to play ball.
Right.
So to me, that that's been the biggest thing. But you guys, how if you're a travel league parent,
Mhm.
what went into you making that decision, to go to travel league or just higher. I don't want to say higher, it's different, a step
Right.
different than rec league. I don't want to call it higher, it's just different. What makes you stay at the rec league level? Maybe you are a parent and your child is just dominating that rec league, and it's time for you to make that jump to a different level of playing. You got to keep pushing them, like Coach T said. You got to
Yes, you
challenge them
do.
and
Yep.
push them. And
Absolutely.
sometimes they'll get a little lazy on you because of this technology era and not want to dedicate time to the craft.
Yep.
And just got to nudge them and keep them going to it.
Yep.
But definitely leave that in the comments.
But
Hashtag.
we're gonna get into it, but it's a lot of this. A whole
Yeah.
lot of money,
Oh
baby.
yeah, a lot of this too, bro. A lot of this too.
Yeah, man. Oh man, I told Coach T, man, MJ's program, totally transparent. MJ's coach program for about 3 months is about $1,650. 3 months of playing ball.
Yeah.
It comes with a certain amount of things, but it's not cheap. Is he
No,
worth it?
not
Yep.
cheap.
And that's not counting flight tickets, hotel stay, paying
Yep.
for
Yep.
the AAU tournament for the
Yep.
weekend, food to eat. It's quite an investment. And
It is.
so that's why us making sure that we get you guys on that NIL path is going to be big in that, man. So
Yeah.
Lynn, leave us in the comments, man. Tap in with us. So look. Let's keep it going, man. Remember, man, we here for a good time, not a long time. What we got? Yes, dad, no dad, fellas. Yes, dad, no dad.
Yep.
It's that time. Rapid fire.
Yep.
And this is sponsored by the good folks at the Motown Magic basketball program, man. I can say I know the program, but I know the program, man. It's just I can't help it. I roll with winners. You dig? I won't apologize for that. I won't apologize for that, man. But I love the program, man. Not only because of the winning basketball, but the family culture and dedicated to growing families and not just athletes. You dig? So this is yes dad no dad, sponsored by Motown Magic. Let's get into the first question.
right.
The NCAA's transfer portal been a hot topic for the last few years, but it just opened up on March 24th, and Michigan State coach Tom Izzo he went into an epic rant about it.
Yep.
We're gonna share that video with you guys to check out.
I saw what happened at one school that, teams get a chance to play in the Sweet 16 and people are entering the transfer portal. Kids got to do what they got to do. And they're really not doing what they got to do. They're doing what their parents or their agents are telling them to do, because they still got to go to practice, go in the same locker room unless they leave the team. And I think that's insane. I think it's disgusting.
His main thing was the timing of the portal being open while the Spartans, are in the March Madness tournament right now, and they got a good chance to win. And so he had a big problem with the timing. His focus was on the kids that are going to be staying with them and not really the ones that could possibly leave it or even thinking about that right now. My question to y'all, man. Yes, dad, no dad, Joe. Yes, dad, no dad. Is Tom Izzo wrong for how he feels about the timing of the opening of the transfer portal?
No, Dad.
No,
He's 100% right. I mean, let the season end. I mean, you got kids that are already, that the transfer portal opened up. You had kids that were still playing in the tournament already entering the transfer portal.
Got you.
Okay. That's wrong. That's wrong. I mean, how do you feel? How are you feeling? You're in the middle of a tournament and then you got, people on your team all of a sudden saying, you know what, I'm out of here. Well, I guess you ain't a team player, right? You're already trying to find your next gig. I don't know.
Interesting take. So it's a no dad for Joe. Coach T. Yes,
No
dad.
dad.
No dad. No dad.
No dad. Agreeing with Joey.
no.
The end of the day is the water is green when you water it.
Yes, sir.
I just love how people think jumping programs is ever gonna help them in any kind of way. Good luck with that. No dad. I'll cut it short.
No dad for Coach T. Coach Ropini. Yes, dad. No dad. Is Izzo wrong about how he feels?
No, Dad, you got to put the team first if you're in a team sport. It's not about the individual.
Love it. Love it. For me, no dad for sure. This reminds me of, and as a Detroit Lions fan, we were pissed about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn interviewing for jobs while we were in the playoffs. It pissed us off. It left a bad taste in our mouths. It felt disheartening. It felt disconnected. And this is kind of the same thing. You create a division in the locker room when you start talking about folks being other places. So it's a no dad for me, man. We can all say Motown Sports Dad is a no dad on Tom Izzo being wrong for how he feels. No dad. We love you, Tom Izzo. You got our full support on that. Next one. Go Spartans. Is that what we said?
Go green. Go green.
I love it. Go green. Wolverines unfortunately got bounced out. They were a tough team this year. Would have loved to have two Michigan teams in the Final Four. But man, it was a hard season. Shout out to Wolverines. Go green, man. Being out, living once you leave Michigan, I no longer live there. I'm in Florida. You root for all the Michigan teams.
You're not torn anymore, right?
Yeah, you're not torn.
You're right.
You root for all of them. You want to see them win. So definitely go green. Next one, reclassification. It's been a hot topic also past couple of years. And it's amazing how these player movement, player-based decisions have been hot topics the past couple of years. But reclassification or reclassing is the assignment of a student's high school or secondary graduation class to either a year earlier or later than their original. Athletes can reclassify to a later year, repeat in a grade in high school or middle school to gain an extra year to grow taller and stronger while developing academically and athletically. In some cases, children can be as young as 11 in elementary school when they are held back. Coach T, kick us off with your perspective. Is reclassification a no-no? Yes, so dad, or no dad?
So I struggle with this topic, and so I dug in so I can make sure I understand it a little better. So the earliest an athlete can reclassify typically depends on the state regulations, school district policies, and level of competition, whether it's public, private, or prep school. All right. So, but in most cases, elementary and middle school, 6th to 8th grade, you can do it. They consider 8th grade the holdback year. That's usually when you can do it where it's the least disruptive to the kid from an educational standpoint and also a social standpoint. 9th grade, before high school athletics begin. Some athletes repeat their freshman year to improve physically and academically before getting looked at by varsities. So public schools, they got stricter policies. especially in high school. Private and prep schools are more flexible. NCAA athletes must still meet the course requirement, and late
Mhm.
class reclassifications could impact eligibility, right? So I just want to drop a little bit of science on it because it's one of those
Yep.
things that's kind of difficult to comprehend. But
Mhm.
if you, so kids' genetics can be like a lottery ticket. Like Michael Jordan, none of his family was that big, you know.
Mhm.
He ended up being 6'6". So he hit the, so his, a lot of people say his brother was just as good as he was.
Mm-hmm.
But he hit the lottery. He hit the gene lottery. And so all this work we putting into sports dad. We paying the money, we spending the time, our kids is talented.
Mhm.
And if like TJ, I'm still waiting for him to hit that growth spurt that Jermaine got. And so if your kid never hit that spurt, then you kind of put all that work in almost for nothing, right? If they can't compete just because of size and strength, and people don't look at them. Well,
Mhm.
reclassification helps. It gives you one more extra year to see, all right, if that seed is going to grow, if it's going to take fire. And for some people, I kind of understand it. Overall, in my house, and you know, in order for you to get held back, that means that you didn't pass your grades in school. And so I just even though I have a smaller point guard who I'm looking to get bigger, and he probably can totally benefit from this because I had to really think about this.
Mhm.
Because his IQ's there, all of it. His hard work is there. He deserve it. So one more year, he might sprout. But I just can't see all his academic work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like he's a 3.8
Yep.
student. Like I'm
Yep.
I'm almost afraid to put sports above his academics when I've been trying to be committed to both. So I think it's a no dad for me.
Okay.
No.
So reclassification is a no for you.
It's a no for me. I don't
Okay.
think I don't we won't be doing it in my house.
Okay. Reclassification is a no dad. What about you,
Yeah.
Coach Volpini? Reclassification, yes dad, no dad.
No, Dad, I'm old school.
Mm,
If that's your age, that's your grade. Roll with it.
Yep.
no doubt, no doubt.
Mhm.
Joe,
Yep.
reclassification, yes dad, no dad.
No, Dad. Unless it's a very young kindergarten type stuff to where they need another year to mature to be able to But if you're doing it for sports, you're doing it for the wrong reason. No, Dad.
Oh man, this comes down to me. I
Yep.
would love to have a unanimous panel,
Mm.
but
Hmm.
I gotta say reclassification is a yes dad for me.
Yes, sir.
Here's why. Now, the one thing that makes this tough is you have to let the folks know before the senior year starts that you're reclassifying. So you got
Hmm.
to essentially say, no matter what happens this year, it's a wash, right?
Hmm.
Which is tough because you never know what's gonna happen.
At that grade level, right?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
Because
well.
we're not. So you're talking about one grade level. But go ahead.
Yep. Yep. So in 12th grade, here's why I would have liked reclassification. So my second note is sincere. In
Hmm.
his senior year, he sprained his ankle and was out 4 games. Now,
Hmm.
at this point, we had gotten the personal trainer. He went through the AAU route. He did some travel ball. He had really gotten really good with basketball.
Hmm.
A full ride to college was almost a sure thing. Almost. He
Hmm.
got hurt. That resulted in what we feel like as a family partial scholarship offers, right?
Gotcha.
If we could have reclassed and possibly given him a healthy senior year, because you never know what happens. He could have gotten hurt again, but you never know, right? So,
Yep.
if we could have had the opportunity to give him another senior year, a
Hmm.
healthy senior year, another year of basketball, and it's not illegal, we're not doing something that
Right.
we're not manipulating
Hmm.
any system or anything like that. We're truly just embracing what you're within the boundaries of the system. I
Yep.
feel like we should have done it. To be honest with you, he ended up doing like a post grad school in Oklahoma that didn't go as well, and he got hurt again, and
Hmm.
baseball became a non-thing for him.
Hmm.
But whereas maybe if he reclassified, it would have gave him another opportunity. He would have
Hmm.
got that free ride, maybe played college ball. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why it's a yes dad for me.
Yeah, we
But
have yeah, I get it, but there's also other opportunities, right? We have a friend, um, and their son ended up playing at Macomb Community College, You know what I mean? So it's a little cheaper, and now he's and he's getting a lot of looks now, right? So there's opportunities after high school, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. So it's
yep,
it's 3 no dads and 1 yes dad on
yep,
that. But you guys,
Yeah,
yes
I
dad.
don't like playing against these big old kids, man, saying they in
right.
my grade, but they ain't,
That's right.
bro.
That's right.
I like your situation is almost like the perfect scenario where I
Right.
can
Yep.
see it. Like, damn,
That's a
that's a
real
Yeah.
good
use case.
perspective. Yeah,
Yep.
but bro,
Right. Most of these people out here just
explain
cheating.
LeBron James I'm playing right now in 7th grade, bro.
Hey, are you talking to the ref like, bro, how's he getting that call? He drove here.
Right, he drove here. He
They
didn't
already
drive to the
reclassed.
hole.
They already reclassed.
but
They
man,
already, yeah.
look, as always, y'all, man, let us know y'all point
Yeah,
of view on this. Yes, dad, no dad on
yeah.
reclassification. And also on
Yep.
Tom Izzo. Leave it in the comments, man. Let's keep it
Yep.
moving, man. Let's get to the story and the origin of the Motown Magic right now.
Let's go.
I bet you did not know playing basketball pleases God. Dr. James Naismith, the inventor of basketball, stated in his philosophy that the mission of basketball is to win men for the master through the gym. His idea was that missionaries would spread awareness of the sport and the good news of Jesus Christ. I identify as being one of those missionaries that Dr. Naismith envisioned. I played for the Magic growing up, where my dad was my coach. This showed me that a father figure could show up in many forms, from a stepdad to a teacher to a coach, heck, even a brother. This planted a seed deep in me as a kid from the west side of Detroit. The Motown Magic has become a platform where the relationship between father and son can grow. And also, father figures can stand in the gap for our boys whose fathers, they're not around. We built a positive environment that encouraged growth of basketball intellect, discipline, and leadership qualities. A place where accountability means more than winning. It's even created a healthy communication channel for me and my own kids. Now I'm starting to see that this private organization needs to be more public. It's going to require some expansion. Basically, we're going to need a bigger boat. And this is where you come in. If you'd like to partner with us and help out in any kind of way, visit us at MotownMagicBasketball.com. Let's discuss the ways that we can partner up. Just like I tell my boys in the huddle, if it's going to happen, it'll happen together. So, together on 3.
And there you have it, y'all. Motown Magic. I told you how that story was cool. Now, if you've seen it before, you'll love it again. And if that's your first time seeing it, wasn't that super dope? I love that program. So look, we got a
Yeah,
special guest in the house. What?
wait, I'm gonna be real quick on that. I'm gonna be fast.
Yeah.
Every week we're growing, man. More and more families.
Yep.
So anything you can do to help would be awesome. All right. It's continuously growing. We're doing great things in Macomb County. So yeah, tap in, donate, show some love. All right, thanks.
How can they do that? Where do they
By
need to
going
go?
to MotownMagicBasketball .com and clicking that donate button. All right. And that's it. That's all it takes. That's all.
Nice. Make sure you tap in, donate. It's a good cause.
Mhm.
So we got a special guest in the house. Man, this kid is so special. He's a pitcher, he's a shortstop, he's a second baseman. Some people call him prime time. Mr. Three Strikes, you're out. Mr. Gotta be quicker than that. Mama call him Bubs. I'm gonna call him Bubs. I mainly call him nephew though. You know what I'm saying? Deion, Daniel, what's going on with you, sir? Happy Sunday.
Nothing really. Just got back from baseball practice. It was really fun. Not much. How was your day?
Nice. Day's been good, man. We just keeping it going on the podcast.
Yep.
Definitely glad to have you on the show, but we're not going to keep you long because we want you to enjoy your Sunday and get back to it. So we're going to kick this off with an icebreaker, man. We're going to go through 4 questions, answer them as fast as you can, right? No buzzer on it, but we want you to be brief. But just let the people get to know you as you answer these questions. First thing that comes to mind. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Now, on candy, Skittles or Sour Patches?
Skittles.
Skittles?
Yes.
Nice. On video games,
Mhm.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
What's your favorite baseball team?
The Dodgers.
And who's your favorite baseball player?
Shohei Ohtani.
Otani?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's crazy, man. You're in Michigan. You're in Michigan, in the Detroit area, and the Dodgers just absolutely beat up on the Tigers this weekend. And here you are with your favorite team being the Dodgers and your favorite player being on Tiny. But I ain't
And
mad.
we watch all 3 of those games, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I don't know what kind of payroll they got, but bro, I ain't never seen a lineup like this, bro.
That is the craziest lineup I've ever seen on a baseball team.
Hey, and the Tigers is I'm talking about the Tigers is balling, right?
Man,
Oh,
And then
Tigers!
they
I
just
thought
hit
you were
this
talking
whole
about the
other level.
Dodgers.
man.
No, I am
Yeah.
talking about the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Tigers is balling, and them
Man.
Dodgers hit a whole nother level, bro,
Yep.
every time. And it's like, what?
Yeah. They just turn on
Yep.
the switch and it's bombs. They going
It's like,
yard.
but we
yeah.
look so good.
Yeah.
But we look so
Without a
good.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah, man.
We're gonna be fine. We got a tough starting schedule. So
Yeah, but look, man,
Yep.
we gotta look. But prime time is a busy man, fellas. So we
Yeah,
gotta
we gotta
let
get
him
to
get
it.
back. So Volpini, man, you got any questions for Prime?
Yeah, I got some questions for prime time, my man. Deion, you play multiple sports, correct? What 2 sports you playing?
I play basketball and baseball.
And with your dad coaching basketball and you playing baseball, how do you choose which sport that you want to play?
I just choose the one that I love the most and that I have more fun in,
Okay.
and the
mhm.
ones I do
So
better in.
baseball's your jam then.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference between rec ball and travel ball to you?
So rec ball has less competition than travel ball, and travel ball, it's like basically there's a lot of teams that are like famous and teams that are good and teams that know that what they're doing and
All
stuff
right.
like that.
What team you representing this year, prime time?
Total
Total baseball. All right. And what's your favorite position to play?
shortstop.
Nice.
Shortstop.
Nice,
Make the
nice.
magic happen over there. Those soft hands. All right, prime time. Well, hey, thanks for being on the show with us. I think Joe's got one for you now.
Yep. All right. What's up, Bubs? So the other day the Yankees hit 9 home runs in a single game, right?
Yep.
So that was because they analytics told them that if we redesign the baseball bat and make it torpedo shaped, right, it's going to help batters, right? So these bats are experimental, and at the end of the day, if they continue down this path, every player can have a different bat based on analytics for them, right? So they could change, so basically what happened was they took the fat part of the bat and they moved it, right? And they made the end of the bat thinner, right? So what ends up happening is someone with slower bat speed is going to still hit the fat part of the bat because that's coming around, you know what I mean? So how do you feel? So how do you feel about it? Because at the end of the day, Major League Baseball was having viewership issues, right? Meaning that people were getting bored watching long games, right? So as more and more, let's just say every team is starting jacking 9 home runs again, per team, right? Well, you're going to extend the game. Major League Baseball just put the pitch clock in, to speed the game up, right? So this potentially could, at the end of the day, extend games again, right? But anyways, that's not the question. But my question to you is, how do you feel about, you guys are all going into these games and you're pretty much, you have to use a certain bat, right? How would you feel if all of a sudden someone came in and they've got a whole different kind of bat and they start cracking and they start cracking baseballs all over the place?
Right, especially if you're pitching.
Yeah, especially if you're pitching, because pitchers are going to be the ones that are going to be hurting at the end of the day, right? Their ERAs, they're going to be pitching longer. There's more injuries that can happen to them. I mean, how do you feel about all this?
I feel like it's cheating, but it's smart at the same time because it's not illegal, and it's cheating because all the work that pitchers put in, and doesn't matter how much bat speed the batters have, the pitcher just throws the ball, and then no matter what happens, if they put the ball in play, it goes far because the power on the bat.
Yep.
For sure,
Me-
man.
Yeah. Could you imagine the Dodgers lineup with these bats? I mean,
That
they're
was
already crazy enough, right? I mean,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they outlaw
Yeah.
these pretty soon, man. Make sure y'all tap in with Total Baseball. Bubs, when's your next game, man? You got another tournament coming up?
Not that I know of, but we have a scrimmage coming up. But they're saying it's gonna be canceled because of the rain, but we
Wow.
don't know yet.
Well, I hope it don't get rained out, man. I know you got plenty of baseball coming up in this season. Y'all remember the name Deion Daniel. Prime time is
Prime
what we call
time.
him. He's gonna be a name to remember. He's gonna be a household name. But we got to give his dad flack. So we got
So hold
Motown
on though,
Sports
hold
Dad.
on though. They do got a tournament though. After that,
Okay.
on the 11th, 12th, 13th that weekend.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
Yeah.
cool.
Nice. Look forward to that. Well, good luck to Total Baseball. But
Yep.
look, we got Motown Sports Dad's first wardrobe change. Coach T switched from the black primetime jersey to the red prime. Now it's cold, but we be remiss if we didn't acknowledge this cold wardrobe change, bro.
You know
We
what I'm
like
talking about?
the red one is fire, man. We like
You
it, man.
understand me?
Yep.
You
Yeah,
understand me?
man.
You
I
know,
like it, man.
swag is part of my DNA, man. You know what I'm talking about? You never know what I might
Yeah.
come out in.
You
You
feel
know,
me?
I got all kind of primetime jerseys. I got primetime baseball jerseys. I got
Yeah, man.
primetime
Right.
basketball jerseys. You know what I'm talking about? You understand me? Parmesan
So
oregano.
look, man. Look. We got to get out of here, man, because we've been here plenty of time, man. So before
All
we
right,
get out of
man.
here, let's let the people know how to tap in with us. Joe, how can they
Yep.
tap in with you on social media?
And just follow me at Suburban Joe on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, wherever my podcast is at.
Volpini, man, on socials, man. I know you don't spend a ton of time on social media,
I
but
do
how can the
not.
people lock in with you, or even the prospects if they have one?
Prospects, I'm not involved with their social media, but David Volpini on Facebook. That's about
Sweet,
it.
sweet. What
Yeah.
about you, Coach T, man? Motown Magic. How can people tap
Yeah,
in with the Motown Magic?
Motown Magic basketball, man. If you want to find me, that's where I'm at right now. Working on multiple projects, but right now, Motown Magic basketball. Me and Jermaine. Jermaine's really the boss of the account, my oldest son. But yeah, he'll let me
Nice.
know.
And Bubs, are they letting you on social media yet? Did they let you on Instagram yet?
Yeah.
What's your
So
Instagram?
what is it?
Deion Daniel _7. It's about basically me just playing sports and
Nice.
winning.
Getting that athlete profile up. I love
That's
it,
right.
man.
That's a good thing.
Want to shout out a couple of our partners before we got out of here as well. Definitely Level Up.
Yep.
Shout out to Cooper's Hawk. Shout out to Dad Gang for sure. And definitely an appreciation for Dana Rose Photography, man. Did I miss
Yep.
anybody, fellas?
Hey, blame it on our minds and not our hearts.
Use your heart and not your
All
brain.
right,
Hey,
let's go celebrate Jeremy, man. Another birthday. Let's go
All right.
celebrate
Yes,
Jeremy.
sir.
happy
Happy
All right.
birthday,
birthday,
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Till next time,
All right.
y'all. See y'all.
Peace. Prime time.
Peace.
See
See
ya,
ya.
bye.